So the month of March, 31 days between March 1st and March 31st, guys, I completed roughly 318,000 steps. If not a little bit over 320,000 steps, roughly. That averaged out to be just over 10K steps a day, guys. That was 10,100 and maybe 75 steps on average per those 31 days. So a little breakdown of that. I averaged 127, I completed around 127 miles for the month of March. I was averaging around 4 miles per day and walking. Another tidbit, I burned an average of 525 calories per day. So for the month of March, just with walking at the same pace I'm doing right now, right? Talking, whether it's virtually to you guys or with my walking partner, which is my wife. At this pace, I burned 17,000 calories, guys, just walking. This doesn't include the HIIT. None of this includes my, HIIT that I'm about to do after this video. Just walking, 17,000 calories for the month of March. My activity level, and this is what's pretty cool to me, the activity level, guys, I spent 120 minutes on average just doing steps, guys. If you guys are familiar with the WHO, World Health Organization, for adults 18 to 64, it is recommended, not suggested, recommended that people have an activity level of around 150 minutes to 300 minutes a week. So if you break that down to what that is, that's basically 2.5 to 5 hours of activity level. So 2 to 3 times a week, that's 1 to 2 hours of activity 2 or 3 times a week. Every day, 7 days a week, that's 30 to 40 minutes of doing some sort of activity. Something that raises your heart rate a little bit, right? So anyway, my average of just walking is 120 minutes per day. So for the month of March, walking, my activity level for just walking was over 3,600 minutes, guys. So that's excuse me. That's powerful for me. That's powerful. I shared that information with my wife yesterday, and so I know I got her motivated a bit. Because I'm always weird. I'm always tracking numbers in some shape, form, or fashion. And it's like, wow, this is powerful. It's powerful because since changing my environment and the way I'm trying and attempting to do life, I can actually live more actively. I can be more active. I still have my kids, right? I still have to work, but changing the way I work, changing the way I have to get money or spend money, changing my environment and surroundings to allow me to be more intentional and assertive with being physically active. It's allowed me to do that, guys. I have never been as active as taking steps as I've been since leaving the States. My 6-month totality has increased. I think I'm around like 1.8, 1.9 million steps over the last 6 months. My average over, obviously, like I said, the last 30 days, right? Like I said, it's a little over 10K. My average over the last 7 days is like between 11 and 12K. steps, you know, and then 4 to 5 times a week I'm doing HIIT, right? I'm burning, I'm sweating, I'm grinding, I'm getting on the floor, you know, working out my body, doing some calisthenics, some plyometrics, right? All that mix of what that HIIT, what HIIT entails outside of being active throughout the day, which is walking. So the world, I always mess it up. The World Health Organization promotes a minimum 150 minutes per week. I'm trying to do something different. I have been walking for 2 hours, 120 minutes a day. And the goal is just to keep that up, keep increasing that, guys. You know what I'm saying? 127 miles on the month. 127 miles. I want to keep that going. The average American, guys, the average American who lives in America, of course, right? The statistic is based on the topography and the environment that doesn't stipulate or that doesn't, make available walking, So the average American living in America walks 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day, And that equates to like 45 to 60 miles per week or per month, excuse me. So that is sedentary, So let's just do the numbers. Let's do a cross comparison. 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day is sedentary. I believe around 6,000 puts you in an active or at least low activity level. And 10,000 is the gold standard where you're highly active. So the average American person I can stand next to, right, or be on the phone with, however you want to do the cross comparison, is walking 75% less than I've been over the last couple months. And this is really powerful how like, guys, and I got my water with me. This is really a testament on why people go through and struggle with their health, struggle with their weight, right? Because they're struggling with the activity level. Because the States is not set up for people at any age, race, financial background, religious, background. It doesn't matter. It is not allowing people to move their body. Work, transportation. Kids is already a full-time job, trying to find work. You can't even hold down the job, so you're worrying about money, Cholesterol levels gets out the roof. Obesity keeps happening. Hypertension, high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff, guys. People more extreme. Cardiac arrest, colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, kidney cancer. People experiencing dementia, Alzheimer's. This is all linked to not being active. And not to go down this rabbit hole that you guys may see me, that's the type of light you may see me in now, but everything that we do that's normal, typical, is detrimental to our survival. And I'm trying to reverse that crap. That's dangerous, bro. I want to live, and I want to live healthy. And so being active is part of it. So that means you got to take away all that extra shit people say you got to do. Simplify it. Walk. Eat less. Eat in moderation. Do some resistance training. Fast a little bit. Limit stress in your life. Limit people. Limit bills. Limit spending. Expose yourself to different ways of life. Give yourself more options. Sometimes you gotta isolate yourself, guys. Like, it's just real stuff. I'm just gonna be redundant and stand on this and just be repetitive. Less is more, guys, I'm telling y'all. And less complexity is more flexibility. It's more time to be active. Gotta be active, especially when you're in the States, especially where the food and the stressors of life, or the stressors and anxiety of other people, can and will affect you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't want to make this much longer than 10 minutes. I did 127 miles in March. My average steps has been over 10K. And this is the first time, I would probably say, in my life. I've been documenting my steps day to day since COVID, since I think it was February 2020. So it's been 6 years, right? And so I just want to make that a testament, guys. It's beautiful. Look at that view. It's beautiful. Make this a testament that this is the goal. This is the standard. And anybody who finds this video, I hope and I motivate you to walk and get them steps in, right? I'm not trying to play catch up when I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 70. I want to beat the odds and maintain, if not get better, if not be more active. You know? So get those steps in, get a tracker, get a watch, you know, use your phone, use these little tools as measures, walk and listen to a podcast, listen to music, have a walking partner like I do, you know, and if I'm not walking with my wife, I'm just in my head thinking, planning. Walking is mentally stimulating. So get that crap in, man, walk. You know, we sit too much. I was sitting too much at work. I was sitting too much in the car. I was sitting too much in front of the TV. I watch less TV now. I want to step, breathe that oxygen, you know what I'm saying? Like, life is not that long. So if you could take every measure to make it as fulfilling as you can, do it. And it starts with health. It starts with being active, limiting stress, limiting liability, limiting attachments. Less is more, guys. So I want to keep this shit up.